Let us now do one specific market basket association rule analysis. We have an Excel file which contains two columns. The first column tells us the market basket number. So, for instance, the first market basket is in the first 4 rows, and the second column tells us what has been bought in that market basket. So the first market basket contains citrus fruit, semi-finished bread, margarine, and ready soups. The second market basket contains tropical fruit, yogurt, and coffee. The third market basket, for instance, only has whole milk in it. So in such a format, we're analyzing data. The data set consists of 43,000 rows. There are almost 10,000 different market baskets that are analyzed, and it's a groceries data set. So we are going to be analyzing this as regards to confidence, support, and lift. We're now in the SAP Predictive Analytics tool, and what we do is File New. This lets us, first of all, select a data source. The first data source is going to be a local file on our computer. So it's a text file, it's a comma-separated file format, CSV. It could just as well be an SQL query from a huge database or a number of other options. We're, however, going to start with a local file, then we're going to process it with the association rules, and we're going to write it back to a local file as well. So we press Next. It prompts for a file name, and we have this groceries translated CSV here. Now it processes it a little, and it says, this is the dataset name, the file location, it's comma delimited indeed, instead of, for instance, semicolon in the limited file. And in the first column, it has the market basket numbers. In the second column, it has the product names, and it's in the so-called transactional format. We now press Create, and it's going to scan the data source. Next, we're in the SAP Predictive Analytics tool, Analysis tool, and we're going to select from the upper pane selector. We're going to select Predict. So this is the place which shows us the data source. It has a yellow mark on the upper right corner, so nothing has been done yet. And now we're going to select next to the data source. We're going to select from the right pane the algorithms, and we will be selecting R a priori. A priori is an algorithm for association rule generation, and it uses R as a tool within the SAP Predictive Analysis set. And now we have to click on this R a priori that has appeared here. We're going to click, and its context menu will appear. We're going to now select Configure Settings. The input data format, in our case, is not a tabular format, which would contain one market basket on one line, but it's instead transactions format. So for transactions format, we say that item column is the product and transaction ID column is the ID. So that's how it understands the data, and it wants to output for ourselves the rules. So it's really the rules. If you buy bread, you buy butter. Whereas it could have identified for us some potential transactions as well. We're going to look at it later on. Now, let's write to the confidence level 0.001, which is 0.1%, and support level is going to be 0.5, as it's very often going to be in our case. And we're going to click on Done. Not go to the advanced panel at the moment. So just the simplest association rule calculation that we can do. Let's now, from the right pane, select Data Writers, and let's select CSV Writer. So here we should again click on it, say Configure, in order to enter the file name. So the file is going to be stored on the desktop, and it's going to be named Groceries Rules.csv. And it's indeed going to be comma separated. If it's overwritten, it should be done so. If it can be overwritten, the quotation character is going to be the double quotes if we need it ever. And we have headers on the columns. So let's again click on done and do the simplest type. Now we see that the model hasn't run yet. So all the components have a yellow ticker on the upper right corner. And now we're going to run the model. Let us run the program by clicking on the run icon. The execution was a success, and all the writings are in a CSV file as well. So let's just click this one open. So it's perhaps easiest to consider things in Excel because it's just a quicker tool. Now we're going to click and drag from A to D on the column headers and double click somewhere here on the border. So this makes them with a width that it needs. And as you see, the first rule is if you buy honey, you're bound to buy milk. The support for it is like 0.1% again, as often in our data set this time. The confidence, in 73% of cases where you buy honey, you do buy milk with it. And lift is 2.87, so it's occurring much more frequently together, the two of them, than it should have been by just pure chance. Now, there are many rules to look through this way. So what we do in the first stage is we just concentrate on, and let's look at the number of rules. It's 5,668. So what we do is we actually rearrange them by lift. So let's click on 1,000 different markers and ZA. And here it is, the highest lift is in front, and we're going to be considering the first 4 rules. The first rule says 1,000 different markers, 19. If you buy instant food products and soda, you're bound to buy hamburger meat as well. The second rule says if you buy popcorn and soda, then you'll be buying salty snacks. The third one, if you buy baking powder and flour, you'll be buying sugar as well. So all of them from a bit different fields, and they all make sense. The fourth one, ham and processed cheese, well, with them goes white bread. And as you can see, the support varies for all those 4 rules, somewhere between 0.1 to 0.2%. The confidence is well above 50%, and lift is the highest from this data set, varying from 15 to 19. And now we can take a next step in our analysis. This was the initial look at the data.